Hi, this is Elena. If you've been working on your health for months, maybe even years, and you're still dealing with fatigue, brain fog, digestive issues, inflammation, and maybe you're starting to wonder, what am I doing wrong? Why isn't this working for me? Then this video is for you. Because here's what I want you to understand. You are not failing, and you are definitely not broken. You're just working most likely on the wrong stage of your healing journey. Your body moves through predictable stages, both into disease and back to health. And if you don't understand which stage your body is actually in and what needs to happen in that stage, you're going to stay stuck. Not because healing is impossible, but because you're trying to skip stages that can't be skipped. So today, I'm going to show you the body's wisdom wheel. This is the visual that I came up with to help me understand this path, and it's the framework I use with every single client to map where they are and what needs to happen next. So let's dive in. All right, so you can see on the screen next to me, I have these mapped with circles. This is what I call the body's wisdom wheel. And I created this to help people understand their healing journey in a way that actually makes sense. I'm a very visual person, so if you followed me in any of my videos, or I guess not the videos because I've never done a presentation, but I have lots of visuals that helps me understand it. But at the center of the circle, you're going to see the mitochondria. Now, if you're thinking, oh great, another complicated science thing, just stay with me, because understanding this one concept will change everything about how you approach healing, and I promise I'm not going to make it too deep and sciencey. Okay, so if you're not familiar with mitochondria, they are the powerhouse of every single cell in your body. They produce the energy that allows your cells to function, and in turn allows the organs to function, and then in turn your body itself to function and to heal. So when your mitochondria work properly, your body works properly. And if they don't, well, then everything else breaks down. So now before we go further, I need to be very clear about something. This wheel maps the physical body's journey through disease and then back to health. But if you've watched any of my other content, especially my glass theory video or my about the clean life method, then you know that I believe true healing requires you to address body, mind, and spirit all together. Not one, not two, but all three all together. Your physical body, that's what this wheel maps. Your mind, your nervous system, your subconscious patterns, your trauma, your stress, and then your spirit, your connection to God, to source, to your purpose and divine guidance. All three affect each other constantly. And I'm going to show you how the mind and the spirit piece impacts this physical wheel throughout this video, because you can't heal one without healing and affecting the others. So take a look at this wheel. First, you need to understand how the body moves through these stages, because this is the piece that most people are trying to address and get wrong. So let's start here, and then I'll show you how the mind and spirit weave through this entire journey. All right, so if your mitochondria, which again is the powerhouse, it's what makes the cell work, if those become dysfunctional, your cells can't function properly. Then the tissues that those cells make up can't work. And those organs that those tissues are formed from can't operate. And then the systems that those organs create break down and can't work. Therefore, mitochondrial dysfunction is the ultimate root of all disease on the physical body. Every chronic illness, every mystery symptom, every I've tried everything and nothing works situation, it all comes back to this. What's destroying your mitochondria, and what do we need to do to repair them? All right, so let's dive into what destroys mitochondria. Let me break this into two categories. We have physical and non-physical, because both matter. The physical destroyers. We have heavy metals from dental work, old pipes, cookware, contaminated water, industrial exposure, and so much more. What's flying over the skies in our, great, they're spraying on us. Radiation and radioactive elements, environmental exposures, medical procedures like x-rays and CT scans, EMFs that are going around, these 5G towers. We have toxins and chemicals, pesticides in our food, herbicides and water, preservatives and additives and processed foods, our cleaning products, personal care products, industrial chemicals out in our environment. We have molds and fungi growing in water-damaged buildings in our home, workplaces, places that we spend time. But here's what most practitioners miss entirely: the non-physical destroyers. Chronic stress. Oh my gosh, your nervous system stuck in fight or flight mode, your body perceiving constant threat. This creates the same inflammatory cascade as those physical toxins. Unprocessed trauma, stored in your tissues, in your organs, in your subconscious, creating patterns that keep your body in the survival mode. Let's talk about spiritual disconnection. When you're disconnected from your purpose, from God, from your divine guidance, from your own soul and intuition, when you're living out of alignment with your soul's truth, y'all, this is big. Now, in my glass theory video, I'll link it at the end of this or in the description, I explain this using a glass filling up with water. Every stressor, physical or non-physical, adds water to your glass. Those heavy metals, molds, chemicals, parasites, pathogens, yes, but also this unhealed traumas, chronic stress, spiritual misalignment. When your glass gets so full because we're filling it up faster than we're draining it, then it begins to overflow, and that's when disease manifests. So when I talk about addressing toxins and pathogens to heal the physical body, it is absolutely necessary, without a doubt, 100%. You have to do that. But if your nervous system is in survival mode, if you're carrying unprocessed trauma from you, from your past, generational past, from your parents, grandparents, and before, if you're spiritually disconnected, your body will only heal so far. And this is why I work with body, mind, and spirit, always non-negotiable. So the wheel I'm showing today maps the physical body, but as we go through this, I'm going to show you our mind and spirit intersect with these physical stages, because you can't separate them. We are not just a body. We are a body, mind, and a spirit. So here's what most people miss. When these toxins accumulate in the body, these physical toxins accumulate in the body, they don't just sit there passively. They create the perfect environment for pathogens to overgrow. Bacteria, viruses, and parasites, they have a heyday. They have so much food. And when these pathogens overgrow, they literally clog your system. They consume your resources. They produce waste. They prevent your body from working properly. And this is where most people get the approach totally wrong. They think, I need to kill parasites, eradicate the bacteria, get rid of the viruses. But here's the truth. We are an ecosystem. We actually have more, or we are made of more non-human cells in our body than we are made up of human cells. The pathogens aren't the enemy when we are in balance. The problem isn't the pathogen exists. The problem is that they've been fed too well. When toxicity rises, those pathogens have more food and they grow out of balance. They overwhelm the system. And the goal isn't to sterilize the body. They serve a purpose. And again, there's more pathogens than there are humans, but it's to bring it back, human cells. The goal is to bring it back in balance. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. But first, we need to understand these stages. Okay, so look at the wheel, moving clockwise from green to red. On the red side, this is how your body progresses into disease, otherwise known as dis-ease. We go from toxicity, and then the more toxicity, inflammation, to symptoms, to disease. You start off, innately, God created us in a vibrant health. And this is where mitochondria are functioning beautifully. Your cells have energy, your body has reserves, you feel good, you're resilient, capable of handling stress. And then toxicity. Unfortunately, the world we live in, toxic burden starts to accumulate. Those heavy metals, mold exposures, chemicals, radiation, etc. Your mitochondria start struggling. Your drainage pathways, your colon, kidney, liver, lymph, etc., they get overwhelmed and backed up. Your body starts holding on to what it can't clear fast enough. And most people don't notice anything wrong at this point. This is the silent stage. But when this is not addressed, it leads to inflammation, especially as those pathogens, the bacteria, viruses, parasites begin to grow, because it's not one or the other, they go together. Now that toxicity has been building up, it creates chronic inflammation. Your immune system is constantly activated, trying to protect from this burden you're carrying. And at this point, you might start feeling off, but nothing really shows up on labs yet. Your doctor says everything looks fine, but you know something isn't right. Then we move into symptoms. When inflammation is left unaddressed, this leads to symptoms: fatigue, brain fog, digestive issues, bloating, constipation, diarrhea, skin plaque problems, hormone imbalance, pain, anxiety, etc. Your body is screaming for help. And this is where most people finally start to pay attention. And I'm not judging, because this was totally me. I ignored all of it until I was in full flare symptoms. Then when you don't address the symptoms, you go into disease. And that is where maybe you just get suppressed with medication. Maybe you get into diagnosed. Maybe you have autoimmunity, chronic illness, conditions with names and labels. Your body is no longer at ease. It's in dis-ease. And here's what's critical to understand. Most people don't start paying attention until stage 4 or 5, until the symptoms or disease. Again, I was one of them. I've learned my lessons. Until they've had symptoms and actual diagnosis. But the root cause is started way back in stage 2 with toxicity. And you can't heal stage 5 by treating stage 5. You have to get back to the root. You have to address the toxicity. If we just are dealing with symptoms and disease and even inflammation and never address the toxicity, we're going to keep this spiraling going on. But now look at the wheel moving counterclockwise from the red back to green. This is how our body heals. It is designed to heal. Your body is always trying to heal. So we go from cleansing, repair, restore, vibrant health. Notice something? You don't jump straight from disease to vibrant health. You have to move through these stages in reverse order. So let me walk you through what this actually looks like. Addressing symptoms so you can function. Yes, sometimes you need to address symptoms because we need relief. If you can't sleep and you're in severe pain, or if your digestion is completely broken, you have to address what needs immediate support. But this isn't healing. This is just stabilizing so that you can do the deeper work. Reducing inflammation. You support your body in calming the inflammation or the inflammatory response with anti-inflammatory foods, nervous system regulation, reducing triggers that are known. Eventually those will go away. You're creating space for the real healing to happen. Now, cleansing toxicity. This is key. This is huge. This is crucial. This is where real healing begins. But first, you have to open drainage pathways: colon, kidney, liver, lymph, your skin. Make sure the exits are clear so things can get out. Then you systemically address the toxic burden, the heavy metals, mold, chemicals, toxins, etc., and pathogens at the same time, removing what's been destroying your mitochondria. But, and this is huge, you can't just dump everything at once. You have to do it in later layers at a pace your nervous system can handle, with your drainage path open so the toxins actually have somewhere to go. And repairing the mitochondria. Once the toxic load decreases, your mitochondria can begin repair. You support them with the right nutrients, the right environment, the right rest. Cellular energy production starts to improve. The body wants to heal. Okay, now restoring function. As your mitochondria heal, your cells work better. Your organs function properly. Your systems come back online. Your body remembers what it was designed to do. Returning to vibrant health. And this is where you're not just managing anymore. You have energy, you have resilience, you have reserves. Your body can handle normal life stress without breaking down. You are now thriving and not just surviving. And it is possible because I've gone all the way from disease to vibrant health. Okay, now I need to tell you about the traps that keep people stuck for years. Most approaches fail because they treat symptoms without addressing the toxicity. They reduce inflammation without removing what's causing the inflammation. They try to fix stage 5 disease with stage 5 solutions. But here are the specific traps I see all the time. Trap number 1, oh my gosh, detoxing without addressing parasites. People do a heavy metal detox, a mold protocol. They feel better for a while, but then guess what? Their symptoms come back. Why? Because the parasites are still there. They're still producing waste. They're still creating toxic burden. You cleared some toxins, but the parasites just create more. So you have to detox again and again, and you stay in this loop. Been there, did that for about 3 or 4 years. Trap number 2, On the other side, killing parasites without addressing toxins. People do a parasite cleanse, feel better temporarily, then guess what? Parasites come back. Why? Because the toxins that fed the parasites are still in abundance in the body. The parasite's food source is still there. You killed them off, but it just regrew because you didn't remove what fed them. You have to address both the toxins and the parasites simultaneously. You have to bring the toxic load down while bringing the pathogen load down simultaneously in balance and in a systematic order that is safe for the body. Otherwise, you're chasing your tail forever. Again, I did this for so many years. Okay, but here's trap number 3, and this is the one almost everyone misses: addressing the physical body without addressing the mind and the spirit. You can detox perfectly. You can address parasites flawlessly. You can support your mitochondria beautifully. But if your nervous system is stuck in survival mode, if you are running loops and patterns in the background in your subconscious that you're unaware of, your body will only release the layers that feel safe enough to handle. If you're carrying unprocessed trauma, it's stored in your tissues, creating physical blocks. If you're spiritually disconnected, you're missing the guidance system that shows you your path forward, shows you what is for your highest and best good. It's never wrong. We just don't listen. And this is why people stay stuck for years doing all the right physical things, the right physical protocols, the diet, the exercise, the sleep, the breath work, etc. In my practice, we work on all 3 always. We address the physical, toxins, parasites, mitochondrial support, yes. But we also address your nervous system. We address the subconscious patterns, your trauma, the generational traumas, the beliefs that you're carrying on. And we reconnect you to your spiritual guidance, your intuition, your soul, your connection to God, your soul's wisdom about you and what you specifically need, because you cannot fully heal one without the others. And this is why people stay stuck for years doing the same protocols over and over and over, or jumping from one protocol to the next, wondering why nothing is sticking long term. You can't out-supplement toxicity. You can't meditate away heavy metals. You can't positive think your way out of mold exposure, but you also can't address the physical and expect full healing if your nervous system is in survival mode and your spirit is disconnected. You have to address the root, toxicity and pathogens at the same time, while addressing the mind and the spirit. I hope that makes sense. I can't stress this enough. Now, for my journey, a little story about me. Let me tell you how I know this so intimately. By 2019, at the age of 39, I was deep in stage 5. I've alluded to that. I was in full-blown disease. I was barely hanging on. I was allergic to 69 out of 72 things on a back test. I had cognitive impairment so severe that I couldn't drive. I was diagnosed with early onset dementia and I was only 39. I had spent over $100,000 trying to heal, trying to find answers, trying to do different protocols. I addressed a lot of toxicity, mold, some heavy metals. I got out of the worst of it, but I didn't fully heal. You know why? One, I was still living in a toxic environment, and unfortunately not at this time. It was a very difficult marriage. It's a nice way I'll put it. My nervous system was in constant survival mode, chronic stress, trauma being actively created. And second, I had been spiritually disconnected. I wasn't listening to God's guidance for me. I wasn't listening to my soul. I wasn't living in alignment with my soul's truth and standing up for myself. I was living everyone else's expectations, putting everybody else before me. And here's what I learned. Your body will only release what your nervous system feels safe enough to handle. And your spirit will only guide you when you are willing to listen. Yes, your spirit will give up on you after a while until you start to listen. My mind was in survival and my spirit was disconnected. So even though I was doing all the physical work correctly, supplements, diet, detox protocols, clean products, etc., my body held on to protective layers because releasing everything would have way overwhelmed my nervous system and sent me crashing. And my spirit was trying to tell me, you need to leave this situation, but I wasn't leaving. I wasn't listening, both. I got to a functional level, so maybe stage 3 or 4, but not vibrant health. Now, when 2020 happened and the whole world stopped, my nervous system finally got space to breathe. I could do deeper healing. I moved further into the stages. And then by 2022, brought on a really difficult divorce for me. when I needed, but my nervous system went back into survival mode and my body held on to stuff again. When the divorce finalized at the end of 2024, and then my body totally crashed. Not because the stress was gone, but because my nervous system finally felt safe. My spirit was finally being heard. And so my body said, okay, now we can release the next layer. Waves of mold toxicity released. Symptoms I thought I had healed years ago came flooding back in waves. At one point, I was with friends and suddenly overwhelmed with the smell of mold, and all of my symptoms of mold returned in my body, but not in the room. My friend who could also sense mold confirmed the building was not moldy. And it took me a little while, but I realized my body was releasing stored mold toxins because my nervous system finally felt safe enough to do so. The mold symptoms that came back, that was my body releasing what my mind hadn't been ready for and my spirit had been protecting me from. This is body, mind, spirit integration in action. And here's what I've learned about these waves. I'll be in stage 1, true vibrant health for 3, 4, maybe 5 months now. Thriving, energy, resilience, no symptoms. And then as my nervous system feels safe or safer, like as I do more work, my body says, okay, you can handle another layer. And then I'm like, wow. And I drop back into stage 2 or 3 to kind of maybe some toxicity and inflammation as another layer is releasing, another layer of detoxing. But here's the key. These waves are getting shorter and shorter and then farther apart. Where stage 3, the symptoms used to last for weeks or months, now might be just a day or 2. And then I'm back to stage 1 in vibrant health for another several months. This is not regression. This is progress. It might not feel like it, but it is progress. My body is releasing deeper and deeper layers as it feels safe enough to do so. And this is huge, key, safe. The waves come, but they're briefer and the spaces between them are longer. And this is what the wheel teaches us. Healing happens in layers, in waves, and your body moves at a pace it can handle, not at the pace you want it. Trust me, you can control it all you want. It's not going to do that way. It's going to move in coordination with what your mind, your nervous system can process, the subconscious, and what your spirit is moving you towards. So here's what I want you to do right now. Pause the video if you need to and honestly assess, where are you on this wheel? Are you in stage 5 in disease? Do you have a diagnosis, a named condition? Your body is in active breakdown? Or are you in stage 4 with symptoms? No official diagnosis yet, but you have clear persistent symptoms. Fatigue, pain, brain fog, digestive issues, hormonal problems, emotional anxiety, etc. Are you in stage 3 with inflammation? You feel off, but you can't pinpoint it. Maybe some lab markers are slightly elevated. Your immune system is working overtime, but you can't figure out why. Or maybe you're in stage 2 toxicity. You're being exposed to mold, chemicals in our food, or being sprayed in the air, chronic stress. But you don't have any obvious symptoms yet. This is the preventative stage. Or are you on the healing path? You've started addressing toxicity. You're working on repair. You're seeing real progress, even if it's slower than you like. Most people watching this are probably somewhere between stage 3 and stage 5, between inflammation, symptoms, and disease. And that's okay. That's your starting point. I was certainly there. The question isn't, why am I here? The question needs to be, what does my body need at this stage to move me to the next stage? And what does my mind need? What is my spirit trying to tell me? Understanding the body's wisdom wheel changes everything about your approach to healing. But remember, the wheel maps your physical body's journey. True healing, the kind that actually lasts, the kind that takes you all the way back up the green to vibrant health, that requires addressing the body, the mind, and the spirit, the soul together. Not 1, not 2, all 3. Your body needs toxins cleared, parasites addressed, and mitochondria supported. That's what the wheel maps, and that's at a bare minimum, non-negotiable. Your mind needs nervous system regulation, trauma processing, subconscious pattern rewiring or subconscious repatterning. That's the work that most people skip. And your spirit, it needs connection to God, to source, to your divine guidance and purpose. It needs connection to you. That's what shows you your unique path forward. Your symptoms aren't just physical. They're your body's communication about all three levels, your body, mind, and spirit. They're trying to communicate to you. So don't say this is happening to me. What are you trying to show me? Your slow progress, it's not failure. It's your body honoring what your mind can handle and what your spirit is guiding you toward. Your body is not working against you. It never is. It's working with you, with your mind and your spirit to protect you and to guide you. Your body wants to heal. It is always trying to heal. Your soul's always trying to communicate to you. The body's wisdom wheel, this wheel is just a framework of your physical body. And once you know where you are on this map, and you understand how your mind and your spirit intersect with these physical stages, you can kindly start moving in the right direction. So here's what I want you to do next. First, if you haven't seen my glass theory video, watch it. I'll put it in the link below. And that's where I explain the full body, mind, spirit model using the glass filling up with water as your body is like a vessel, like the glass. It shows you how physical toxins, mental stress, and spiritual disconnection all contribute to your glass overflowing into disease. The body's wisdom wheel is the physical piece of the glass theory in the complete picture. I'll put the link in the description. Second, I wrote a detailed blog post that goes even deeper into the body's wisdom wheel with self-assessment questions, stage-by-stage guidance, and more of my personal story. I'll put that link below. And then third, if you're ready to work on body, mind, and spirit together to figure out exactly where you are and what you need next, I offer consultations where we can use muscle testing to identify your stage and create your own personalized path forward. We'll also look at your glass and see what's filling it up, what toxins, pathogens, mental, spiritual, where are you, what do we need work on, and what's the best path forward for you. I'll put that link in the bottom below. Your healing journey is unique, but the stages, they're universal. So let's find where you are and what comes next. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. If you found this helpful and you think anybody else might enjoy it or find it useful, please share it along and make sure to subscribe and have a very blessed day. Thank you.